Hello and welcome to Everyday Eternal number 146, your favorite, most deceptively named bi-weekly legacy podcast. If you want to support the running of the show directly, you can support us on patreon.com/everydayeternal. As usual, we got 3 clowns in the house, but today it's actually 4 of us and it's not Matt. More to that in a moment, but we have some special new appearance here on the podcast. But first of all, Kai, how's it going, man? How is Berlin still standing? I still can't believe you've been there for, is it like a year now? I've completely lost track of time, dude.
It's been a full year now, and yeah, I've never felt this trashy in my life. But I love it. I love it. You know, like you gotta all humans are gotta adapt. You know, there's plenty of Magic tournaments now. Just gotta play a bunch. Made a lot of old and new friends. Played more Magic. Made more friends.
You started a whole tournament series like that I'm even qualified for somehow. I still don't know how that actually happened.
Dude.
You started in Berlin?
Yeah, I started in Berlin. Like when I came here like a year ago, there was no tournament, right? And I started like as professional as I am, I started this WhatsApp group which already has like more than 100 people in it, and you know, it's weekly tournaments. And the cool thing is, like, this Sunday, for the very first time, we're gonna have a Sunday big legacy event, which is an ELM qualifier, you know, which we are doing for the first time. And what's more exciting about this is that I'm gonna take all my streaming setup with me, and after a long break, I'll be streaming that paper event live on Twitch.
Wait, nice. Are you gonna be streaming and commentating?
I'll be playing the event, so I'm gonna be sitting at the O3 bracket, and
there's only footage after round 3.
Yeah, it's like, the stream only starts once I'm out of the tournament, right? So that's how streams go.
Awesome. And for those of you wondering, Kai, tell us, who is that amazing Australian voice in your background?
Dude, so you know, we figured like having 4 people on the cast is sometimes better than 3 because everyone likes playsets, right? And playsets are usually 4 cards of the same thing, you know. And yeah, I got Lee with me. Most people might know him as 1MrLee, which I love because, you know, I'm usually 1MrKai. Yeah. And you know, we got Lee in the house from you came from Seattle, right?
Yes, I came from Seattle, but I'm born and raised in Sydney. G'day guys. How's it going? Shout out to dudes.
Dude, I have your Twitter pulled up on my other monitor, and I was like, it says Seattle, Washington. I'm like, wait, I'm not good with English accents, but I was like, oh, dude, was I that wrong? No, okay, thank you. Dude, you have no idea how relieved I feel right now. Welcome to the show, man. How's it going? You are I've been talking. You've been hiding from the law in Berlin. Tell us the truth. You really just wanted to visit Kai, right? See whether the man, the myth, the legend was actually real. Did you get to touch him yet?
Oh, yes, he's beautiful dad belly. Yeah, no, I'm just here in Germany visiting some friends and family. But you know, I was like, Kylie's in Germany. He's been talking about how much he loves you know, all the new community and people here. So I was like, let's come by around, and then he invited me here. So that's awesome.
Dude, so like an hour before the recording here, like we actually like played almost like a full hour of like Legacy. Like the classic matchup between like Mono Green Elves versus Jeskai Stoneblade. Welcome to 2010.
What the hell?
Who won? I was losing at first, but then I just put my Julian mask on, and then I just started winning. He's like, "Why do you have 3 Allosaurus Shepherds in play?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, dude, I hate Stoneforge Mystics so much. Like,
oh, that's great,
dude. I thought Elves was your new deck.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, Lee doesn't play any blue decks. That's his brand, you know, and you can't break character.
Fair enough.
Well, that's 2Mr. Lee who plays blue decks, right?
It's actually 1MrLee because my email is 1MrLee@gmail.com. So there's only 1MrLee@gmail.
I mean, for SEO purposes, like if you had went with Mr. Lee, that would be awful, right? That's just like no way to find you. If I go to Google and I put in like Mr. Lee Twitter, I'm like, okay, there's gonna be like so many.
Yes, I've been trying to chase MrLee.com for like ever. I think that domain's been held for like 15 years.
I think the owner of that plays all the blue decks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's how it works.
Game.
Yeah,
dude. But seriously, like, how have you been enjoying Germany? Like, don't take Berlin as a good representation of what Germany is actually like. But yeah, is it the first time in the country for you?
Yes, first time in Germany. We did like kind of mural hunting. So the murals and the artworks and the graffiti is amazing here. Really loved it. It's kind of wild and crazy because I am Vietnamese, right? Born and raised in Australia, Vietnamese of descent, and you know I know Vietnamese as well. Coming here, I did not realize that Vietnam is like one of the biggest populations in Germany. So I'm going to restaurants, I'm walking around, and there's people talking Vietnamese to me, and I'm just like, oh, I can talk to you, which is kind of crazy, right?
You know, you should actually go to Prague. I hear Prague, I think Vietnamese might be the second biggest citizenship in the Czech Republic. I don't know. It's like really, really big part of the Czech community as well. But Berlin, I think Berlin is just like such a big melting pot. You can basically find people from all around the world there.
Yeah, awesome. And the food's kind of interesting here because the German food seems really heavy.
So polite.
I like that food is interesting.
Interesting.
Like, you know, if it's shitty, you can say that it's shitty. You know?
I mean, I've had my schnitzel. We had schnitzel day one, and I just ate it. I'm like, this is great. I don't think I'm going to eat schnitzel again, but we're going to try all the things, right? All the things.
Yeah, that's gonna take you a while in Berlin. Kai, actually, what is like the official food of Berlin? Is it döner or
No,
like?
dude, it's currywurst. It's
Oh,
like,
true.
It is like the most disgusting thing you can ever serve to someone.
Curry the worst.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's like a sausage, and you have like a so-called curry sauce on top, which is basically just ketchup with like curry
Spice.
powder on top, and it
Just
is
tons of paprika, right?
It is cheap. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I
You
remember
can
that.
see.
Yeah, that's basically the slogan of Berlin, right?
Yeah.
how it works.
That's like,
I will
are you
interject
British?
and say, me being English, I cannot talk about food at all. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I've got
I mean,
no...
you can always go to Scotland and like shit talk haggis and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, no one actually likes haggis. So,
Okay, but that's cool. That's cool.
yeah.
So, guys, Kai has a visitor. Callum, how's life for you? What have you been up to?
I'm good. I've been going through, been doing some different things. So Magic has taken a little bit of a back burner the last 3-4 weeks or so.
Thanks, two of us.
Yeah,
Kai, you gotta
I
carry the show. Lee, you got it?
was about to say, I'm glad you guys are playing. Like, I have been playing a bit. My band's going back on tour in a couple of months, in a month and a half. So I've been kind of just re-practicing that and getting things organized. Also, Warhammer has just come out with a new edition, so I've been pretty addicted to that. And there's only so much time for things like with the tour coming up. I've also been just like I was feeling a bit out of shape, so I was going to the gym most evenings rather than going to play Legacy evenings.
very
So
good, Callum.
just
Heck yeah.
getting a bit back into a flow of things
Yeah.
rather than like
Sounds good.
But just
yeah.
out of curiosity, what are we doing?
So we're going around Europe. So gonna be
No.
at
Oh,
sorry. I think we went for the
dude,
tour.
I meant the gym thing. Like you know, like what parts of the body are you like? You know.
Oh,
just getting
jogging
into
to
shape again?
lose weight and stuff.
Oh, gotcha,
nice,
gotcha.
nice.
I've got
okay.
a bit of a beer belly, like a little one, not too bad. Definitely not like
Yeah.
overweight or anything.
Well,
But-
if you want to work your belly, it's
Yeah.
actually like 70% diet, 30% exercise.
Yeah, well, I'm eating salad every evening for dinner, which sucks.
Good.
I just
I
had
have a question.
I just had like salad with tomatoes and olives and stuff before this. So, yay! Life is exciting.
You said you played Warhammer, right?
Yes.
As someone that only plays Magic, I don't play like Flesh and Blood, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
heard people that play Warhammer, it's like way more expensive than Magic. Is that right?
No, it's
the opposite,
absolutely
right?
not. It's so the opposite. Warhammer is like a quarter of the price, maybe less. It's
Okay.
hard. It's hard to approximate. So, I mean, Magic is more expensive. You have to put more money in, especially Legacy. But like, maybe it's a bad example. Like, let's just use Modern as the midway thing. To buy a Modern deck can be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. To buy a Warhammer army can really range, but like you can get one for 300, 200 pounds, obviously a bit more dollars and stuff. The problem is Warhammer's very hard to sell on after that, whereas Magic cards are very liquid. So yeah, it's definitely much cheaper by quite a lot.
Ah,
So,
gotcha. All right.
yeah, I'm going to try and tempt everyone listening.
Yeah, that's Callum wants to like sell Warhammer products to like to
Yeah, we
newbies.
mentioned this in previous episodes, right? We at this point, I want to say the Warhammer channel on our Discord might actually be the most active one of all of them because you got so many people into Warhammer,
Yeah.
and now we even have people in that channel who don't even play Magic, who literally just joined to be in the Warhammer channel.
I will admit, Warhammer's taken a little bit of a back burner as well recently, just thinking I was kind of playing hobbies 3, 4, 5 times a week, and I was just getting too involved with it. So I just thought, look, just slow down a little bit. You can enjoy it a little bit less and stuff. So it's weird because Legacy, I really genuinely think Legacy is the best it's been in so many years. It's amazing. I'm looking at it and I'm looking at all the results come in. I'm looking at the things you could do, and it's just really, really, really damn cool at the moment. So I will get back into it again, get back into the flow of things. But for now, the band tour is just taking a bit of a precedent. But yeah, that's where I'm
I
doing.
agree. They shouldn't have banned my baby white plume adventure.
Get Kai, take his microphone
that's
away
the
right
end,
now.
see, guys.
Well, the problem is that's also my mic.
Tune
that's
in
the
next
problem.
time.
Oh yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, so like Lee and I, we are sitting like we are literally like just about to kiss, you know, because like we are so close to each other, like we be talking into the same mic.
Yeah,
Like-
you guys, you've probably seen like the Lady at the Tramp where they eat the spaghetti together.
yeah, the
and
spaghetti,
just,
like that. The spaghetti is literally the mic, dude. It's closer than that.
Yeah.
This is
And I like it.
I love the previous setup. You thought that might gonna work. That wasn't Lee supposed to be sitting in the bathtub or something with like his own mic, but you could still hear it across the room because it was
No,
like a
I
duty and
I
stuff.
think Lee was supposed to sit on me, yeah. But you know, besides that, everything
Okay,
is, like,
okay.
on-
Everyday Channel After Dark. Here we go. Awesome. Yeah. Well, for me, like Callum, I've been kinda like not playing a lot of Legacy lately. I think I played a couple challenges here and there, but I even dropped a showcase challenge at 2-2 because there's just like so much other stuff. If you could see my apartment right now, I basically threw out something like 70% of my furniture because I was so sick of it. It's really just that.
Oh, wow.
It's not even that it was like old or anything. It's just
Yeah.
like, dude, I've been living in this apartment for 5 years or something, and I'm so fucking sick of it.
I like the
And
energy.
yeah, it's just like it had to go. And you know, one night I tore down a lot of the stuff and like everything. And I put it on our version of, like, I guess Americans would call it Craigslist, like classifieds, whatever. But here it's called eBay Kleinanzeigen. And literally the next day, people started showing up and taking all the stuff out. And I was like, this is easier than I ever thought it would be, because I thought I had to like take it to some, I don't know, trash place and it's gonna cost me money. It's like, no, you just put it online. You tell them it's free and they come into your house and they take everything.
Amazing.
And so I've been slowly rebuilding the apartment the way I wanted to have, and I'm halfway there, more like 60% there. But
I love
that's, like,
that. So I love change. I love new things. I love all that kind of like just don't get too comfy with things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Love it.
Very much so. Very much so. It's just like such a big difference. If I could, I would move apartments. Not that anything is wrong with this, but like being stuck in the same place for too long, it's just like, that's one part. The other part is I developed a new addiction. Like I've always been like super interested in chess. I even like played it as a kid here and there. But over the last couple of weeks, fuck, dude, I'm actually literally addicted to it. And it's so funny because I'm horrible. I'm the most horrible you could ever imagine. But nevertheless, I've played a couple hundred games in like 2 weeks or something, which I guess isn't even all that much considering that I'm playing like 3-minute blitz. But
See, I never tried chess because I knew how deep it can go
Yeah.
and how much time you can put into it.
yeah, and the mountain you can climb is like you can't even see the top. You don't even know it's a mountain, right? It's so big and you're so small you don't even realize. You think it's just like a vertical wall or something, which I guess eventually becomes a mountain. But yeah, I honestly, as I'm speaking, I think I have to delete the app from my phone, and I probably have to deactivate my account because honestly, I'm actually scared that I'm kind of getting addicted to that shit, and I really should not do that.
Yeah, sounds well, more addicting than your most addictive point of Magic.
Honestly, like I can't even say I've ever been really properly addicted to Magic, which I guess is why I've been actually going so long with it, because I never really had, except for like a couple of weeks in 2015. Yeah, I think that was. And I played. I think I keep saying this. If you've watched my stuff, I think that I had one weekend where I played 78 matches on Magic Online from like Friday night until Sunday afternoon,
So many.
Oh, wow.
and I was so destroyed and devastated And at that point, I looked at my history on Magic Online and I was like, oh, this is why I feel so bad right now. That was like a bad moment. Other than that, I think I've never really been addicted
Fair
in a
enough.
crazy way.
We just need our boy Chaos to come online,
Oh yeah.
and then
It's
we'll
gonna
get
make a
back
big
to it.
difference.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we have a qualifier for the German Legacy Championships coming up at etc. this Sunday. I thought it was going to be last Sunday, and like on Saturday night I was preparing my deck and everything, and then I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why is there a tournament tomorrow? Why has nobody in like our chats talked about this? And then I looked it up. Yeah, it's actually this weekend. And yeah,
You playing?
I'm gonna advertise the German Legacy Championships. They're gonna be in Ulm sometime in, I wanna say June, I think mid-June. Gonna be run by Zum Waschbären, which is a new shop. The only thing, and honestly, I want this tournament to succeed, and from what I've heard, there's actually a lot of pre-sign-ups, even though I was quite surprised. But yeah, there's apparently are going to be a lot of people. The only thing that really rubs me the wrong way is that it's a 2-day tournament, and it's like the Legacy Championship. How many people are going to get there? Like realistically, 100 and something. It's not like the biggest event in the world. It's also in fucking Ulm, which is like so awkward to get to if you live north of, let's say, I don't know, Frankfurt. Like Kai, are you coming to the German Legacy Championships?
Well, the problem is that on the same day there's like on the same weekend there's another big Legacy tournament.
It's probably going to be bigger even.
It might be, yeah, in a place called Bottrop. I've also never been there, but they have like crazy high attendance. Last event they had like close to 200 players playing like a split of Modern, Legacy, and Pioneer, I think.
Bottrop looks awesome. I've seen pictures and it looks like a lovely place.
Oh yeah. I'm totally gonna get there with my Pioneer deck, of course. And,
Hell yeah.
Honestly, guys, this is the first time I've heard about European events, because I lived in America and before that I was in Australia. The fact that you guys are just talking about conflicting Legacy events, that's wild. Like, don't think I've ever seen that happen on the West Coast.
Well, I guess it's somewhat easier because Germany is like much denser, right? And we always talk about like public transportation, Germany being horrible, but compared to the US, it's still easier-ish. But that's also somewhat of a development of the last year or something. Like basically when everything restarted post-COVID. I want to say in the last year we've had more local and regional Legacy tournaments than we have had pre-COVID, for many years pre-COVID. So that's, I don't know. We talk about this, right? That how America is still like so LGS centric and everything needs to be sanctioned or at least like played in LGS. Most of the big tournaments in Germany are completely independent of like any LGS. I think some still have some affiliation or something, but yeah, a lot of the big stuff is just like happening completely. For example, in Munich is the third biggest city in the third biggest city in Germany. Munich has a Legacy, I think it's a monthly Legacy tournament, and I think the last one had like 17 players or something, and that's like the 1.4 million city and the big LGS in there. And then we have Freising, which is a suburb, in a bar, which is completely community run, and like on good weekends we get like 50 people. So that's just like the difference. And I mean we allow proxies, but that's that.
Okay. I guess in Seattle we had equivalent, but it was like hosted by Mox Boarding House, and they had like the Legacy presentation, the LPS, and it was like 50 to 80 people every month. But then
that place is legendary, right? They have like the chandeliers and everything.
I was gonna say that place is like the place I wanted to go when I was especially like more active on the source, and I would see all these pictures from Mox Boarding House. I was like, if I go to America, I want to go to that place because that is just the place to be for Legacy. It felt like
that was my local
amazing
LGS when I lived in Seattle. Yeah, it was really awesome. And I used to do the cast as well, so I used to do commentating.
I think I watched that quite a lot as well.
Yeah, Monday cast, so that was pretty fun.
Is it still pretty active?
They stopped casting now because they're trying to support other games like Flesh and Blood and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and all that stuff. So they just stopped the casting. But the Legacy turnout used to be like 50, 60 every week.
Amazing.
But now it's like 30 to 40 sometimes on
still so many
average. It is a lot because Seattle. I mean, this is where Magic started, right? So there's so many Legacy players there.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like, like guys, like one thing I really regret, like, is in 2015, I actually hopped on a plane to go to Seattle to this Legacy GP, and but what I didn't realize was that I've never been to Seattle because I was stuck the whole time in this little tiny place called Tacoma, which is definitely not Seattle. And
Isn't that the place that's actually famous for like being super smelly?
It was not only smelly, it was like all sorts of things, and
it's a dangerous neighborhood. Yeah.
Like it took us like the whole night to find one bar to get get a beer.
Okay.
The GP venue was like whatever. Maybe you guys remember it was like the one where they distributed the Delve of Secret playmats. They were like double-sided. They were pretty attractive. I think a lot of people wanted them.
It's a pretty cool idea, actually.
Yeah. Well, like so and so. I honestly didn't like them as much because like they were kind of they didn't stick on the table. You know?
Because you don't have like the rubber on the bottom.
Yeah, because you don't have the rubber.
Okay.
And like all the clean tables in Japanese stores, they were just too clean, and
So you brought your own dirt, like you spit on the table and you rubbed it around.
The Delver playmat is fine as long as you have like a really shitty table that is full of trash.
Are you really going to flip the playmat mid-game and be like, "Oh, my Delver flipped," and flip your whole?
But then again,
for every card you draw, you can flip the playmat. You've just like to reveal an instant or sorcery.
Yeah, but then like a part of me also feels like Delver of Secrets belongs in a trash can. So like it's kind of on brand, you know. I think it's all good.
This is why we have you in the cast. Perfect.
Thank you.
So Lee, how do you feel about Delver of Secrets? Your favorite card now? We just established right before the podcast that you never play blue decks. I didn't even know that.
I mean, apart from 8 cast, but is that really a blue deck? But yeah, I'm anti-blue. I think the biggest thing I point out on my stream is I don't play Delver. And the only way you can make me play Delver is if you redeem I think it's like 1 million channel points.
Is that kind of like how Anorak like never plays Death in Texas, even though he's a pioneer of the deck?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I hate Delver. Like, I hate Delver because, like, I play brews. I play dumb, stupid meme decks, and then they're just like Days. Why didn't you play around Days, bro? And I'm like, ah.
Honestly, I love the absolute honesty. Like, oh, I play a meme deck, and then they have Days. Like, come on, dude, bro, please, let's not do that.
No one plays Days in this format. Get real.
By the way, while we're at it, I think we haven't even mentioned it, right? You stream, you have a YouTube channel. It's all to be found on, is it no, on YouTube it's1MrLee, and on Twitch it's 1MrLee.
Correct, yeah. Everywhere on my socials it's 1MrLee, but on YouTube I managed to secure MrLee because that's the true domain I actually want everywhere. I think if you just type in my name as well on YouTube, it comes up with my channel and everything there. So, but yeah.
When I search for MrLee on YouTube, I'm gonna find your channel. Without like the space in between, I guess.
Yeah, I think MrLee is too generic. So if you just type in like,
yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of the one.
Yeah. I mean, I can change it to 1MrLee, but I feel so proud being youtube.com/MrLee because like as soon as they released it, I was like, I'm getting MrLee. No one else has got this.
Wait, you've been on YouTube for that long?
Yes, I've been on Google Suites and I even was grandfathered on the original Google Play Music and YouTube Premium plan, where you get YouTube Music, Google Play Music, and they gave you YouTube Premium and all these other stuff for free. It was like $10 a year, something ridiculous.
Wait, a year?
Like, a year. It was ridiculous. This is when like Google Play and the YouTube.
And you still have that?
I was on it until like probably the start of this year. They got rid of it.
Okay, that's pretty insane because I actually looked into it recently because I had like this YouTube Premium test thing, and it also includes YouTube Music. But once you continue it, I think it's $11 or euro a month. So if you have it for a year, that's insane.
Yes,
anyway, we're not here to advertise YouTube. We're here to advertise your YouTube at best.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what everybody here has been up to. Before we dive into the episode, there's big news. If you like Magic, if you like Legacy, especially if you like, well, maybe not Magic Online, but you want to try it, there's going to be an all-access event coming up in 2 weeks, starting on 31st of May. Wizards, or I guess Daybreak Games, haven't really told us what it's going to be for other than a ton of fun, but sometimes it corresponds with like a big tournament that everybody can sign up for. So 31st of May, try it out. That's also the day where I'm sending my car to the repairman because my car is basically breaking down and this might be the end of it.
It's fate. These two things intertwined.
I'm not too excited. Maybe I'm just gonna spend the rest of my days on Magic Online grinding out money for a new car. Hey,
there we go. That's the fate telling you something.
This car is powered by, I don't know which deck is best for. Like, everybody's playing Reanimator right now. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have like a big Grizzle brand on the front. Oh god, this is gonna be so bad. And speaking of good and bad things, I didn't know that this was controversial, but I've heard that one of our hosts at least has a lot of opinions on this. Wizards of the Coast, for the 217th time, has changed the way they handle banned and restricted schedule announcements. Yay. This is just like we completely lost track of everything. This, you know, there's, I don't know, on South Park they kill Kenny every episode. On Magic every year they change the banned and restricted schedule. So how it's gonna work now? And for context, this is because Standard is switching to a 3-year cycle. And Wizards has decided, okay, from now on, there's going to be 2 types of banning windows. The first one is an annual one It's a big one. I think on the video they said in late summer, even though this year it's gonna be on the 28th of May. And that's gonna be a big banning announcement that's gonna address all formats. They haven't ruled out.
It's gonna be Fable of the Mirror Breaker in standard.
Okay. So for this year, it's gonna be Fable of the Mirror Breaker and standard. But generally speaking, they really hyped it up as that big event. And leading up to that event, they will speak a lot to the community. They will also talk about like unbans. And then when that date hits, in like maybe this year, but especially in the coming years, there's gonna be a big shakeup across all formats. Now you might ask, okay, this is interesting, but what about like other bans that are needed? They have a smaller ban window that's gonna be 3 weeks after the release of each set. They can also address any format, but that's really only meant for anything that, slipped past development and completely wrecks the format. Like for me, Skullclamp, for example, comes to mind, right? Which was like changed and never tested. They cited like Felidar Guardian or Oko, which I guess in standard were a problem, if I remember correctly.
But Oko wasn't even found in 3 weeks. I'll go on a rant in a minute, but like,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from there, at least from the Reddit thread that I also scored, people were somewhat confused whether that smaller ban window with like only super crazy emergency bannings is only going to be for standard or for any format. And it actually wasn't quite clear. And I reached out to them on Twitter, and Blake Rasmussen's got back to us. And he basically said, our threshold is a bit lower for eternal formats in that window, but the goal is to still reduce churn when and where possible. So the most common thing people were asking about is, hey, if we had to deal with, Ragavan or, Underworld Breach for a whole year, that would have been horrible for us. Is that going to happen? And from the sounds of it, they might be more likely to touch Legacy, but we really can't tell. And now, Kai, what do you know? I already heard that Callum has a lot of thoughts on this. So go.
I was more pissed off at the beginning when it first came out, like hearing that it's going to affect all formats. Hearing that they are giving themselves some leniency to kind of step in if something is too bad for other formats, okay. But I don't know. I just think, on the one hand, I do think having a set schedule is a good thing. It'll help players plan, and it'll help players, people don't have a lot of money sometimes, or the decks just cost too much money. That's the main problem, actually. That's the better way of putting it. And they need to be like, well, now everyone's going to be offloading their Fable the Mirror Breakers because it's just obviously going to get banned in standard and maybe Shieldra too. But so now everyone's going to be selling all their Fable the Mirror Breakers. And then next year, when the thing comes around again, everyone's going to be selling off their things as well. And there's going to be a bit of hype around it. But like, first of all, having a set thing once per year creates such a huge amount of time where you can have a lame duck format leading up to it. Like, I would think 2 months out, people are going to be like, oh, why would I play standard if it's going to be like changed in a couple of months? It just doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. But like, if you get something rotten that is, discovered after 3 weeks, like Oko, I didn't play a ton of standard during the time, but I played some. And it was in like this kind of like bug food deck, and people were playing main deck Noxious Grasp, which is Destroyer Green Planeswalker. And it was kind of kept in check somewhat by that. And people also played other Planeswalker removal spells, but it completely destroyed Modern with the Oko, like Urza, Astrolabe, Cryptic Command, Mystic Sanctuary deck. And then in Legacy, it did obviously horrible things in Legacy as well. So those two formats suffered more, but this was still way after the 3 weeks. So that example is just an example of how I think this doesn't work.
But to be fair, like the guy, I think, I don't remember the name.
Andrew Brown?
Mark Lorca on Twitter.
Yeah,
Andrew Brown.
Brown.
He basically randomly came up with something on the spot when he was asked about it in the broadcast.
So the other thing for me is, it's kind of, I'm just really bored of this lack of movement, lack of change. Like, one band's window per year is so slow. I wish they would unban loads of things. Like Legacy right now is great, so I'm not saying unban things there now, but there's a ton of things on the ban list they could unban. We've gone over it for a few episodes. Modern, they could unban crap like Splinter Twin. They could try Pod Out again. They could try Blazing Shoal. They could even try Glimpse of Nature. There's some things that are probably too good, obviously, like
I've been wondering about Green Sun Zenith, but maybe that's crazy.
Like, what I want them to do, this is just me personally now, and maybe other people can think, okay, this would sound cool as well. I wish they would actually just take command of these formats, like have people that like okay, we're going to unban this and we're going to see how it works for 6 months, then yeah, people can buy them and play them in paper. They can play them for 6 months and then maybe close to the time sell them on. You have Magic Online, which is an incredible tool where they get so much data for free on what people are playing, this or that. I don't know. I'm just bored of this whole like stagnation of formats, and I just think this is going to make things worse. And it just puts me off the game even more on the formats, and thinking, again, Legacy's good right now. I have no problem with that at all. But the moment we get something like a White Plume again or an Expressive Iteration again, and the format becomes stale, like I basically stopped playing just before these bans, and it's just very off-putting. I don't want to play those kind of formats, and knowing that the ban's probably going to come 6-7 months later, you just don't hold out hope. You just stop playing.
I have a concept, all right? As a UX designer, I have a proposition. Right now on Arena, they have modes. They're like, hey, we've banned this card, we've nerfed this card, play it for a week or two, and you have a separate mode. What I've been rattling on about on Twitter a lot is that on Magic Online, they should have a mode where like it's modern, but with unbanned pod, and you can play the leagues and play the normal, whatever, and then transparently show the data which decks are winning if we unban pod. Do that for 2 months on Magic Online. People will understand like this is modern with pod unbanned. Here is the prerequisites, and and just let people build the data, because if you put it on Magic Online, just like they do on Arena, the data will show, and they should do that and trial it to let people try that.
We've actually talked about that on the podcast a year or something ago, I'm pretty sure. I like the idea a lot, but I think there's a couple of problems. That one is, I think the league data will be skewed unless you do it for like months at a time, because people will all be playing the new cards, or they'll be heavily metagaming because people in the leagues are all playing the unbanned cards and stuff. So it wouldn't be quite realistic, I think. The other time, I think the Magic Online community is a bit small to split it up like that, especially Legacy, a little bit more less so Modern. But I think you would just have weird data set or that. But if there was lots more players, and if you could do it for a longer period of time, maybe. But I don't know. As I said, I just want them to grab the formats by the horns and just be like, look, we're going to try unbanning this stuff. We're going to try banning this stuff. And I hate this idea that once something is banned, it can never be unbanned. I mean, I could say since it's up to 1 Julian up here, but I don't know.
I didn't hear anything. Honestly, though, but it's kind of funny, or maybe not funny. It's interesting that you say that, because I kind of like got somewhat of the opposite vibe of that, especially since the dude, I can't remember the name. Help me out. Andrew Brown. Andrew Brown talked about like unbans, and I felt like, oh, they actually they talked about and honestly, they were probably more talking about like modern unbans, because like standard unbans don't really happen, I guess.
Yeah, standard unbans won't happen just because they're going to rotate out before you can like have enough time to play with them again. But like for me, the idea of a card being banned and then never unbanned, I think this has been somewhat ruined by the Golgari Grave Trail unban in Modern, where they unbanned it, and then at the same, or like a few weeks later, Cathartic Reunion came out, and obviously
that was horrible timing.
Yeah,
right?
It's just awful timing. But I do remember it because Dredge was my deck in Modern for years. Before Cathartic Reunion, the deck was like good, but there wasn't enough time to see how good. But it wasn't like this, oh my god, it's broken. And then Reunion came along, was like, lol, this is completely messed up.
Yeah, this is basically your dream card if you could design one, right?
Yeah, basically. And so then Grave Trail got banned again, and I think that's left a big stain on their memory of like how unbans are bad like that. But I thought it was great, and I wish they'd try that with more things. I wish they'd experiment more.
See, and that's the thing that I'm kind of getting from this announcement, that I mean, it's only once per year, but previously we barely ever had it, like except for like very few unbans in Modern every now and then. And from what I understand, like this is going to be the date. Probably not this year, because there's only so much time leading up to it, but generally speaking, this is where stuff gets really shaken up, where I don't know.
Okay,
is cash like restricted in Vintage right now? I guess they're never gonna unrestrict cash, but maybe they're gonna touch a lot of stuff, especially since they mentioned that they're gonna talk to the community and stuff. So that kind of excites me. And for me, the biggest thing, because like you mentioned, right, the idea of like having to play with White Bloom for like an entire year, or at least half a year after it was discovered or something, that's kind of meh. But for me, the big thing is like that smaller ban window that's gonna happen like 3 weeks after each set, so basically every other week or something, like at the pace they release sets. That's going to give them a lot of time to like still address, let's say, legacy if something is wrong. And
I think it's good, yeah. I think giving them this window, they will now have the confidence to be able to actually look at the first few weeks' data and be like, right, this is a problem. Things will probably get through the cracks. I mean, it could well happen, and then maybe something changes and they have to do another emergency thing if something's really bad. Fingers crossed. But I agree with you. Like, that is a really good thing where they can, rather than, I guess currently they're just releasing something and then hoping everything goes right. But now they'll be focusing on what's coming in the first few weeks, and then they could just say everything's okay. Or
also,
whatever.
the thing, like when you look at the entire context of that thing, is that for like quite a while, standard has basically been dead, and everything they're doing, like everything is designed around reviving standard, which is like switching to the 3-year cycle and like trying to inspire more people and like buying the standard cards and everything. And how this affects like legacy, and I mean to a bigger degree, I guess modern, it is so secondary, tertiary to them that I think they would be pretty willing to like bend the rules, or like Blake mentioned, right, apply a lower threshold for making one of those small band window bans in legacy, whereas in standard they're basically being held to their new policy of, hey, this is project faith in standard, let's restore it.
That's true. And I'm glad you asked the question on Twitter, like, does it apply to other formats as well? Because I was ready to be even more pissed off and stuff. If this was going to be like Legacy gets one ban list per year and that's it, like, I was just ready to be so upset about
horrible.
it. That was the first impression. So
like honestly,
I've calmed down.
like, you know, like, the more I look at this, like sorry, the more I think that like I actually don't care about the annual fixed date. Like, I almost want it to be gone. Like, I only care about the smaller band windows, because like how I see Magic is like I see bands as like kind of like a police thing, right? Like if the formats are fine, you know, if it's a lot of fun to most people, like then we don't need bans, right? And if we need bans, something is, as it says, like utterly broken. So like what if there is no annual fixed date, but whenever some shit happens, you know, in any format, then, you know, there's a smaller band window.
It isn't even like a smaller band window. I think, generally speaking, I think it might actually be pretty much the same pace that we've seen before. We just had like the big internet Brexit happen again, you know, where Great Britain, they just sometimes cut off everything and we have to reconnect the world. Dude, seriously, if we talk to people like in the Middle Ages and something like, hey, we can speak to people from all around the world, like with just like 50 seconds delay or something. Oh, 50 milliseconds delay. Anyway, but here we are back again. So this is going to be everything about the new banned and restricted schedule. I'm excited to see how it's going to work out. I even have some hope that we might see some unbans in Legacy, but I think we did an episode on that. There's many things flowing to that, but it's gonna be another year before that big turn date really probably happens for formats other than standard. As Callum already mentioned, right? We are about to celebrate Fable of the Mirror Breaker ban day in standard, and then maybe Shieldred.
So any prospective painters, just hold on, wait to get your Fables.
Oh yeah, they might drop out a bit.
They're still played so much in Modern, and Pioneer. So
are they actually one of the best cards in Modern, like top 3 card in Modern? Would that be
not top 3 at all, but they're
top 10?
No. It's probably like Ren and 6, Ragavan, Blood Crypt.
I keep forgetting that
Fury.
Ren and 6 is legal in Modern.
Fury is also like a completely format warping defining card.
In Lightning Bolt.
Yeah. Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, that's just like too much shit in Modern going on. It's so funny how like crazy overpowered Modern is.
It's very good.
It's fun.
Legacy
It's fun. Yeah. In speaking of Legacy, Callum, you mentioned, right, that Legacy is like pretty good right now, and even when I look at the decklist, even though I didn't get to play a lot, I've still been following the results, and holy shit, is this format wide open. Like, you see so much stuff going on here, and the one list I want to pick out is a 5-0 by Ho Che Chuns.
Hodge-tunes.
Does it mean anything?
Well, tunes are like banging songs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying shit.
So this deck, actually brought to us by Kinda posted it on Twitter.
Of course he did.
Of course. It's like it's like the source for like meme decks. Holy shit.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Ratchet.
And if you like meme decks, we got Ratchet Field Medic, which is a transformer, right? I always get confused.
Can you tell me what Ratchet does?
It's okay. I'm actually not going to look at the thing. It's 2/4 lifelink. I think it costs 2 colorless and a white, and when you gain life, you get to return an artifact. I don't know if the mana cost is limited. Actually, it might be equal to the amount of life you got from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Is that correct?
Cool. Almost. You do all that, but you also convert Ratchet.
Oh yeah, that's yes.
Of
Okay,
course, of
actually,
course.
I knew that.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
Okay, and you convert it, and I have no idea what the other side is. I have to look that up. That's
It's
up
an
here.
ambulance.
Yeah, it's literally an ambulance. Holy shit!
Someone call the ambulance.
It's a
For
1/4
Julian.
lifelink vehicle. Oh my god, it's a vehicle? Wait, does it mean you can't even attack? How do you crew it? Oh, living metal. As long as it's your turn, this
always a
vehicle is also a creature. Okay, makes sense. And if you want to flip it back, whenever one or more non-token artifacts you control are put into a graveyard from the battlefield, convert. Is there like some kind of infinite combo in this?
I don't.
Oh,
think
this ability only triggers once each turn. Julian, just
Yeah.
read the cards. Okay.
It's just a value engine.
Yeah, it's a value engine, and we are playing it in what looks to be, is it mono white painter?
Yeah.
Oswald Fiddlebender, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Phyrexian Dreadnought is in there.
Oh yeah, totally just normal painter.
Dude, seriously, I didn't even see this when I posted.
But it's got
There's
2 Torpor Orbs and 4 Dreadnoughts, and then like
Yeah,
2
and
Mighty
it has-
Gardens as well.
one copy of Glasses of Ursa.
Yeah. Do you remember what Glass of Urza does without looking it up?
Yes, because that's one of the most famous cards in the history of Magic, which is so funny to me because Kai, didn't you actually not know this card and come up with it? I thought it was you.
It's basically Gitaxian Probe.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
for
it
those
looks
who
like
actually don't know,
someone's
it's
hand.
it taps and you look at your opponent's hand. And how
that's-
much mana is it? 1 mana?
That's great.
Yeah, 1 mana. So you can get it off Saga, is the idea. You
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
off Saga, look at their hand, and then you kill them with
And
your
you know if the
combo.
coast is clear and you can go for the combo. Kai, I don't want to like slander you, but I'm pretty sure that we had a conversation like a couple of months or even a year ago where,
so
where
wants to
you
slander
randomly
you.
came up with like Glasses of Ursa, and you were like, you didn't know the card existed, and you asked, I think on Twitter, it could be somebody else. I thought it was Kai, but I'm sure it happened. Hey guys, I just designed this card. It says tap, look at your opponent's hand. How much mana do you think it should be? Like 4 or 5? I'm actually not sure. It was. I think it was Anorak. I don't know.
I mean, like that is, yeah. I mean, I think like the questions are just a little bit too stupid for me, even for me. I love the design, but I really don't know what the glasses are for.
I mean that I guess that's really the idea is just to see whether the coast is clear, right? And it's also like meme value. I mean, we're playing Wretched Rescue Race Car out or something.
Well, are you telling me that any combo deck should be playing like Glasses of Urza or what?
I mean, we played Gitaxian Probe, and this is Gitaxian Probe that you can get off Saga.
Yeah, it can't be power blasted.
Yeah, and it can be reused every time.
I love the 4 Once Upon a Time without any green cards.
Perfect. Absolute perfect deck building. By the way, there's also, is there Hannah's Custody in there? Somebody mentioned that in chat. Hannah's Custody, where I don't see it. Oh, it's in the sideboard. Oh my holy god. This is the kind of sideboard card I would put in my sideboard back in like school, basically. So that's like,
I don't even know what it does.
so Hannah's Custody is an enchantment from, I think, Tempest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Tempest. It's 2 colorless and a white. Artifacts cannot be the target of spells or abilities. Literally, that's it. It's just like protect my painter, right? I love how blunt it is as a card. And it's like a one-off on your sideboard, and you're like, if they have a lot of spot removal, artifacts cannot be the target of spells or abilities, full stop. Oh, by the way, actually, let me look it up. Because I remember it had Hannah's Custode, typing it up right now. I remember that cool flavor text, something about, yeah, here it is. I protect the legacy with my life if necessary, for its purpose is far more important than my own. She protects the legacy. Come on, guys, this is great.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, come on. Seriously, like, this is the best flavor text we've had on the cast in many years.
I'm just shocked that like like that. Like you guys mentioned Oswald Fiddlebender as a 4-off, and like you guys said it as if it was like the most normal thing ever.
Is it not?
like an Oswald Fiddlebender, like that is like I think among the top 5 most popular mono white commander cards, I think, because that
is it?
Yeah, I think it's a legendary 2-drop, I think, right? And it has the birthing pot ability for artifacts. And I'm saying like with such confidence because like I looked up Oswald Fiddlebender just because I'm kind of trying to build a mono white commander deck myself.
Okay, so basically the idea behind Oswald Fiddlebender is that's how the idea of mono white painter came into being, like, in the first place, right? Because there's just like so much synergy in there, and people were like, you know what, let's just Oswald Fiddlebender it up. And I guess when you have Hushbringer, you can also just like start just putting Phyrexian Dreadnoughts into play. I guess that's the easiest thing to do.
Oh yeah, just convert your Lotus Petal into a 12/12. Doesn't sound bad to me.
As you do. That's how we play Magic these days.
I think it goes up by 1. So
It works, right?
It pops.
Lotus Petal into Phyrexian Dreadnought. Sounds good.
Yes, Dreadnought makes sense.
Yeah. Loving it. 5-0 easy. This is going to be all over the place. So everybody get your Hannah's Custodies, or get ready for Hannah's Custody. Even better. So yeah, that's that deck. Pretty insane. Honestly, that deck that made me feel like, dude, this is just like anybody's format right now is the one that got, what is it, 28th place in one of the Legacy Challenges on the 7th or 8th of May, beginning of the month. So from now, like 1.5 weeks ago. This is sick, right? This is beef. Guys, seriously, what's up with like just lining up a bunch of consonants? This is Beefchi? Beefkey? Okay, shout outs to Beefchi, who basically played, is this 4-color Sue? Is it straight up Sue?
I see only Naya colors, but yeah, this is Zoo 2023.
Dude, even better if it's just straight up Naya. This is amazing. There's even a card in there that I have absolutely no idea what it does. Invasion
Wild
of
Nakadl.
Wilde Nakadl.
Invasion of Gobakan. Seriously, does anybody of you guys know what Invasion of Gobakan? Oh,
I do.
I
Because
think I do know this one.
this is kind of like touted to play a bit in initiative. So it's like a 2-mana enchantment, I think, where when it ETBs, you Elite Spellbinder. And then when it flips, you can then, it's like an enchantment you can sacrifice to give all your creatures hexproof and indestructible.
Are you sure?
At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 count on each creature that attacked this turn.
That as well.
And you can also sacrifice it to, all your creatures gain hexproof and control and indestructible.
Cool. Yeah, it's a pretty good card, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it does a lot of things,
decent.
Right? It's some disruption, which is not worth a card, but it's some disruption. Like you can take their Supreme Verdict, for example, because you're playing Zoo, or take their swords, make it cost 3 mana, and then your creatures are beefy, right? You're playing Wild Nakatl, so what does it cost to flip? So you need to hit it for 3. That is the perfect number.
Lightning Bolt.
So you can bolt it, you can Chain Lightning it, you can attack it with the Wild Nakatl, or like a big Tarmogoyf, and then it flips, and then it's, like, it counters a removal spell at least, or like counters a Wrath, and then puts counters on your creatures as well. I don't know. Seems pretty cool to me.
I mean, it's not in the spot where I would think, okay, this is unplayable. This is actually like, so how would the pattern work? Like, you play a 1-drop on the first turn, and then ideally you probably want to play more creatures on the second turn, but if you somehow can't, actually it's kind of hard not to be able to. You play 20 creatures, holy shit. But if you can't, you would play it on the second turn, then your Wild Nakatl attacks for 3, becomes a 4/4 by the end of turn. Okay. I can see that.
And you've spellbinded something is not bad.
Oh, to see, actually, I totally forgot about that. You got to spellbind or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like counters.
We're getting closer.
Counters removal spell, spellbind something, and can grow your creatures. Like, it's none of those are worth a card, but for 2 mana, it does a bunch of things. It also grows your Tarmogoyf if it's in the graveyard.
Oh, dude, the synergies are through the roof. Okay. By the way, and speaking of creatures, so the creatures we got is 4 Tarmogoyf, 4 Wild Nakatl, 4 Eidolon of the Great Rebel, 4 Dragon Rage Channeler, 2 Hexdrinker, and 2 Bone Crusher Giant, along with 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Chain Lightning, 4 Once Upon a Time, 4 Misha's Bubble, and 4 Invasion of Gobakan with like classic 20. Oh, Sue with 4 Wastelands. That's also what I think. Classic Sue didn't really play Wasteland.
Yeah, because it's like a spell, I guess. So they're kind of playing. It casts the Invasion, Bone Crusher Giant, Hexdrinker, Tarmogoyf. So
some
enough.
of them, maybe some of the sideboard cards. Okay. So yeah, Sue in the format, dude, sign me up. I feel like this is the biggest blast from the past. It's been 12 years since I last played against Sue in Legacy. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. also, a few other like old superstars in the sideboard. Also, like 2 copies of Kataki Warsvage. Like, I think everyone has like a sort of like a sweet spot for that card. Like, you know, it's like a little stinker. It's not utterly powerful against, you know, it's not game over versus 8 cards, but it's a little stinker, you know. It's like a little like Thalia-ish, you know.
It's so bad. Like whenever I played 8 cards or Painter and someone plays it, it's just, it doesn't do anything, but it's cute.
Oh, dude, okay, that's cool. I just recently got dragged by this Painter.
Oh, really?
But I mean, yeah, there are sometimes situations, right? But I agree, it's not the best card to have against them.
Yeah.
A lot of times it doesn't really matter. But against Acast, like, at least I could see that it taxes all was it top the tokens, the flying top the tokens, which could be super annoying as jump blockers.
Yeah, could be.
So
That's
there's
true.
that, I guess.
That's true.
I love how it's 20 creatures, 20 lands, and 20 non-creature, right? And also there's like only 5 fetchable. Everything else is fetch lands or sled.
Okay, that's the holy number, isn't it? 20, 20, 20.
It is.
Yeah.
Like
good catch.
a part of me thinks that like it's a little low for Dragon's Way Channeler. Like there's like actually not that many non-creature spells that can trigger Dragon's Way Channeler, so it might just
20.
be a 1/1. Yeah. Like 20
Yeah.
20 is kind of low, right? Like
20's low, but it has a lot of different card types. I think.
Bone Crusher.
Oh, Bone Crusher, yeah,
yeah.
that counts as well.
That's true.
okay.
That's true. Fair
Sorry,
enough.
oh dude, Bone Crusher completely fucks up with
Oh,
that
so it's
synergy.
actually
Oh
18
my goodness, it's
Actually,
not-
18 creatures and 22 non-creature spells.
That sounds
We,
really.
we get to play like something like, I don't know, 62 cards, but only have 60 cards in the main deck. That's crazy. Perfect deck building. You harness the power of 62 cards with only 60 cards. Perfect.
But it's also got like, so Invasion is a battle, and then like Eidolon is an enchantment. You've got Mishra's Bauble Artifact. You got Instants with Lightning Bolt and Once Upon a Time, Chain Lightning Sorcery, Fetch Lands. Like, you're going to make this delirious even without too many non-creatures. You just lose out on the Surveils.
I like how they added 3 natural orders and an Atraxa in here. No, I'm just joking.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, this is big Sue. Big Sue.
Yeah.
So yeah, next list I got pulled up. This is, I don't know, this is kind of crazy, right? I was going to call it Grixis, and then I didn't even know what to call it.
Grixis New Cards.
Yeah. This is what True Futurism top 8'd one of the legacy challenges 1.5 weeks ago with, which is basically Grixis New Cards. He lost in the quarterfinals. And this list, it starts out at, 1 Brazen Borrower, 2 Murktide, 4 Dragon Rage Channeler, and then 4 Fairy Mastermind, and 3 Chrome Host Sea Shark. Callum, I think last month we talked about this card potentially, having potential in Legacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it does have still potential here. So True Futurism posted this on his Twitter saying it was like, sorry now I can't remember who he said to him like try this idea out, but the idea of just playing it in a fair blue deck, it was just like I think this is the first time we've seen this, because people have been trying it in 8 casts with Thought Casts and Force of Will and all that kind of stuff, and I still maintain it's a pretty powerful card. It might not be quite making the 8 casts like Shells as a staple, but there's definitely room to build around it. But here, like the synergy with Snuff Out is really strong, and it's just a good card. Like it's got a 4 toughness butt, so Never Dying to Bolt is always a good thing.
Legacy.
And like 3 mana is kind of hard to hit with Prismatic Ending. Like you will hit it, but it's never trading up a mana like Swords does and stuff. So I don't know. I think the Shark is just a good card, honestly. And I don't know if we'll see this kind of shell carry on, but it's cool to see that it can do stuff here.
Yeah, when you look at this deck list, it's either insanely refined or completely unrefined at all, right? You got so many like 1s and 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
And this looks all over the place.
He said it was not refined.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
No, but he's a genius. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, True Futurism, he's pretty active in the Cloud Post community as well, so he likes to try different decks all the
Yeah,
time.
he's
very good.
he beat my butt at the ELM on camera with Cloud Post.
I was gonna bring that up.
No, that's really cool to meet him there. He's awesome guy. He streams as well. He does it in French. So if you want to find him on Twitter, True Futurism, he does lots of different decks. It's pretty cool.
Cool. So for the next deck list, this is the biggest blast of the past. Even bigger than anything, even bigger than Sue, even bigger than all the other stuff we've talked about thus far. Not necessarily even because of the cards, but because of the deck building style. Because this reminds me so much of how when I started Legacy back in Munich in the, well, we called it Cyberschule, in around like 2006-ish. It was the most common thing, and I think a lot of people experienced the same who played back then. You literally just showed up to a tournament, and you didn't really know what you were going to play, or maybe you forgot your deck, which apparently happened quite often. This is so weird. And people would just like open their binders, and you would just go through their binders and pick the cards that you wanted to play today. And when I look at this deck list, this is basically the kind of good stuff value deck list that people would come up with back then. You know, look at this. This is basically bug mid-range. And everything is like a 2-off or a 1-off, and then there's some 4-offs to carry the deck, like, you know, Force, Ponder, Brainstorm, and everything else is like a 1, 2, or 3-off.
That's crazy. Like, and yeah, Brainstorm, Force, and Ponder are the only 4-offs, and every single card in the deck, I mean, besides the fetch lands, are 1, 2, or 3-offs, but like we have mostly 1-offs. That's beautiful. I love it.
I mean, we can
It looks
say
kind
one,
of old.
we can say one term, and everyone's gonna be like, I know what you're talking about. It's bug Tradebinder.
Yeah,
Tradebinder, right?
Yeah,
that's basically what we call it in the new area then.
It's just like
the one life of the loam unrolling special.
one with a bloom command, 3 Thoughtseize, like even the mana base is just like, 1 bio, 2 drop, 2 underground sea, bunch of fetches, probably makes sense, right?
Oh, may I read out the removals? That's just so beautiful. Holy shit!
It's tuned.
Guys, check this out. 2 Snuff Outs, 2 Abrupt Decay, a single Fatal Push because you have to, and 1 Assassin's Trophy. This is so beautiful to me. Like it. I mean, it also has like the Brazen Borrower, Petty Theft as a 1-off, obviously, and egregious. But this is like, you know, like I remember back then, in Legacy, like you put a lot of thoughts into like these kind of weird splits, right, between removal, because you go like, Abrupt Decay can't hit Tombstalker, but it's really good at killing Tarmogoyf and Delve of Secrets, yada yada yada. But and I know like Snuff Out and Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, like they all have their ups and downsides. Like Assassin's Trophy, for example, really good at destroying Dark Depths, for example, of things like that. But it's just beautiful to me, like how like I think if you play Meddling Mage or Cabal Therapy or Pithy Needle, you're gonna have a pretty hard time versus this deck, I think.
Cabal Therapy versus this. Oh no.
That's gonna be nice. You just name Brainstorm, right? You hope you have it on the first turn. You straight up go into Brainstorm and hope that hits.
They also have the 1 Grist and no Green Sun.
Yeah, just like 1 Grist, 2 Narset, 1 Witherbloom command for good measure, which is like, I guess,
you only need 1 to take over the game. Wish. It makes sense. And the sideboard is more of the same stuff.
Yeah, sideboard is another Tradebinder, right? Everything is like a 1 or a 2-off.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's even like that random Caracas that you can't even find.
Oh, you dredge it with loam and then.
Oh yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah. So
Julian, hello.
Basically, a tutor for it.
I'm always the guy who like criticizes people who are like, oh, you can't find this card, but like when it's Caracas and you could technically have so many cards to find it. Anyway, yeah, but
didn't we just say that this deck has 4 Brainstorms and 4 Ponders anyway?
Oh yeah, easy game. This is basically that. I mean, this is kind of cool. By the way, we shout outs to second Siege Rhino, 7th place,
amazing
at least after Swiss in one of those challenges. Is this Matt's secret account? Is he back on Magic Online? Second, I would call.
Oh,
I don't know.
Like how would you call yourself second Siege Rhino and then you play a non-Absan deck? Like what the hell?
I mean, you have Caracas in the sideboard, okay?
Oh shit, dude.
Maybe that's that trademark. You know, I always have the Caracas to cast my Siege Rhino just in case. Cool. So yeah, I absolutely love this deck. You know, maybe I just have that gut feeling when you can play bug mid-range, not anything stupid like, I don't know, check pile where you rely on like inevitability and stuff, but you just like straight up play honest bug mid-range, and that's a deck in Legacy, and you can play it and you don't have to feel ashamed for yourself. That's good. That's a good place to be, and that's why seeing that deck makes me incredibly happy.
Yeah, power to second Siege Rhino.
Yeah. Making me happy for the week. And now we got a ton of other results. We won't really be able to go over all of them, but we had 2 more challenges. We had a smaller challenge on Saturday, and then we had the big monthly showcase challenge, which I think had 215 players. It was 9 rounds. It was completely insane. I played in it, but I dropped after 2 and 2. It just like felt a little bit too overwhelming, and like I said, I'm tearing apart my entire apartment. So I was like, okay, let's put some work into that. But in the end, it was won by MKC playing White Red Initiative. Let me pull up the deck. You guys have the deck pulled up as well?
Not yet, but I looked at it quite a lot this last week. So as I said, even though I'm not playing, I'm still like addicted and looking at everything. So
But you're always in touch with everything. This is the most impressive thing to me.
this one, so the initiative community's been going through this phase of like trying to work out what build to play. So there was one that won a challenge recently that had like Esper Sentinel and Urza Saga and stuff in the mana base, and it was basically mono white. Some people have been playing much heavier white but without Esper Sentinel, but then like a little red splash for Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Now the one that won, I'm just opening it up to be sure, but I'm pretty sure this was like very much a 2-color deck playing 8 elementals, I think it was. Yeah.
4 Fury, 4 Solitude, no Saga.
Cool. So yeah, this is like basically pre-ban, I would say. It's just like, I know it didn't oh no, it was mono white, wasn't it? So this is like the first list that came out after the bans, basically, and it's still playing it. So yeah, 4 Fury, 4 Solitude, and then it's leaning really hard on Fable the Mirror Breaker, I think. So Fable, while it can be really awkward with Cavern of Souls, like I did try this list in a few leagues, and you have some hands that are just like, you've got a Cavern of Souls, you've got a City of Traders, and then you've got a Fable, and it's just really awkward. But the Fable is such a good mana fixer if you get it down, that it's just, I think it's, rather than being, I guess it is kind of this weird glue / liability. It's a weird way of putting it, but if it makes sense. But I mean, the deck is just playing so much fast mana. We know what Seasoned Dungeoneer and Caves of Chaos Adventurer do at this point. I'm a big fan of the 4 Archon of Emeria. You're just accepting the mana is rough, and you're going to be hoping to draw Lotus Petal and use Chrome Moxes to pitch good cards, but you just need to cast your spells. So it's just playing all the most powerful cards you can in these 2 colors and hoping the mana works, which looks like it did.
Yeah. I mean, this deck, it's probably going to be, this kind of deck at least, it's going to be around forever in Legacy, right? This is just, when we have good Stompy-based decks that make use of the pitch elementals, that's just,
Yeah, the pitch elementals are just insane. Like, the problem with this deck as well is it does spew card disadvantage pretty fast, and it hopes to make it up with, I guess, with Fable and the Initiative mostly. But, like, spewing card advantage means you're doing things fast, and fast is a pretty strong thing to do in Legacy. So, yeah, if you're opening with like a turn 1 Archon of Emeria, you don't mind kind of just like using your mana much better than your opponents, like strand their Ponders in their hand while you play Archon into a turn 2 4-drop, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. The crazy thing about this type of deck is that you're rolling dice to be at a high advantage on the play. If you're not on the play, then being on the draw is a little bit like you have to hope the opponent's not doing something vital turn 1, right? Because in the mirror, these decks are terrible. I don't know if you've ever played this in the mirror, but it's like it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it is very swingy.
Yeah, I think what I would like to see in this kind of deck list, like with like 4 Solitudes and 4 Fury, is like I'm not seeing a single like multicolored card, right? Like any card that could pitch to both Fury and Solitude. We talked a little bit about like Vinota once, and this is probably not the best Vinota build, but something like that wouldn't be bad. Like I once saw that it was from a core set. It was like a Boros creature that when it enters the battlefield, it fetches up a dog and a cat or something out of your deck. Oh. I don't know what they're called again.
That was from like M19 or 20
or M20 or something. Yeah, or like the 2 dogs maybe. I don't know. Like just a bunch of pets.
Search your deck for any number of dogs and put them into your hands.
It was like search library for a dog. Yeah, I think.
Right,
but
the good thing is
like,
but the thing is like I think like both, they were like, one of them was like white and the other one was like red. It was like, dude, it was perfect. Just get a bunch of pitch cards, in your hand.
All right, you guys heard it here first. Everyone go and play Initiative with dogs.
I mean, that also makes you put like a lot of dogs into your deck in the first place. Like, I'm not sure I want to be there. I'm a cat person, by the way. I'm proud to admit it.
Oh, dogs are better.
Anyway, moving on, we got second place, Andreas Petersen from Denmark, Cascade Crash, Rhino Crash, Rock Crash, whatever you want to call it. This deck is scary. We talked about it, I think, 1 or 2 episodes ago, that this deck actually, I think I listed it as one of my top 3 aggro decks in the format, along with probably Shadow and Rock Diver or something. And yeah, this deck is incredibly scary. When I first played against it, I really didn't understand its powers, and it quickly crushed me. And I have so much respect for this, and I don't want to sit across from this, because this is so hard to read, especially since they can make the Rhinos at instant speed with Violent Outburst. And yeah, I don't know. You guys like this deck as well, right?
Yeah.
This was popularized by Doomweek because he's known as the modern specialist for Cascade, and he plays all formats, right? And he's a streamer, so he started playing this in Legacy tournaments because he wants to play the challenge or the whatever. And yeah, he played this, and then it started going like, oh wow, modern is Legacy light. We can just start playing Legacy decks and disrupt the format.
Maybe, sometimes you have these decks and they show up for like a month and then they completely go away. I think this deck is here to stay. I mean, granted, it finds enough players who want to play this, because this is a very special type of play style that's not too common in Legacy, I guess.
I feel like what most people want to do is like play a deck that's like closer to the next powerful format. Let's say, for example, like I think Legacy Doomsday is pretty close to Vintage Doomsday. I mean, obviously you don't have the Black Lotus and Ancestral Recall, but other than that, like, the builds are pretty similar. And this Cascade Crush deck is kind of the opposite, like where it looks really similar to a Modern deck, and Modern is obviously a weaker format than Legacy in terms of power level.
Oh, that's an interesting. Like, I never thought about it this way.
Right. So like for example, like that's also like why I personally never thought that Legacy Junt was an appealing deck, because it looked so similar to the Modern Junt deck, just with a better mana base, and it kind of felt like a downgrade of some sort, right? Like
so basically what you're saying is, for when in Vintage people play these like bug Tarmogoyf decks, that also feels a little bit like that.
Yeah,
like a real
I would never, for example, I would never touch a bug midrange deck in Vintage, because that is almost like playing a Legacy deck with like random power 9 in it. But but if you compare that to a deck like Tinker or like a Bazaar deck, like those are absolutely on the top, because they do, like, those decks are so much. The cards are just busted, right? And in comparison to to those like bug decks, and like if you look at this Cascade Crush deck right here, like a lot of the cards are simply Modern legal. Like Fire, we see 3 copies of Fire and Ice. We see the 4 Force of Negations, Violent Outbursts, the Shardless Agents, even the Murktide Regent you see sometimes in Modern decks too, like Brazen Boros. Like all those cards are pretty much the Modern staple cards. The only difference are obviously like the dual lands and a little bit of fast mana. You have 8 Spirit Guides, that's not bad, and like the Real Forces, and I guess Minsk and Boo to top that. By the way, like I really dig those Seagate restorations, dude. Well, that's just good deck building.
I was going to say, I love the 2 inevitable betrayals in the sideboard, which is basically another thing you can cascade into, and then you get to bribery your opponent's deck.
Heck yeah.
And basically get there, like, I don't know, Emrakul or Grizzlebrand or what have you.
Oh, that's how you combat Reanimator, right? Like, you don't need any graveyard. Hey, you just steal something.
Yeah, sometimes I've seen that also have like a one-off, let's say, collector oof in the sideboard that you can cascade into. Which, of course, sometimes when you want Rhinos and you get oof, it sucks. But it's.
I mean, the whole sideboard is Modern legal, so it's kind of hilarious.
Is it? Yeah, this further like exemplifies
there's
what
not
Kai
that many Legacy cards in it. There's Minsk and Boo, there's Force of Will, and the Spirit Guides, of course.
They make a big difference, I guess.
Yeah. I guess so.
Right. And maybe that's exactly like what I mentioned, right? Like if you already have 2 tropical islands, 2 volcanic islands, and a tiger, like how likely is that you want to pick up a deck that's 99% modern, and you just add.
I mean, on the upside, you basically get a deck in almost 1.5 formats, right? You only need to buy the modern cards, and then you got like you can play the same. You can cascade in every format.
Did Julian have I ever mentioned that you're pretty good at upselling, like selling?
I mean, that's all. I don't even have to upsell Kenya, right? Kenya's just amazing in the first place. Okay. But I mean, it's kind of my job.
I think one thing that all Legacy players agree on, like wholeheartedly, is that we want more players, and I think this is a good sign, a good signal of like, oh, potentially we can convince people from Modern. Maybe Pioneer. People
if
to
this
come
is like
to
a
Legacy.
proper deck.
Yeah.
So what's the actual big investment? I guess dual lands, but yeah, okay, that's a big one, and the forces, and that's pretty much it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, In German, we say that you have to decide which death you want to die. Which, oh my god, like German sayings in English is just like so bad. Yeah.
Just choose the rhinos and then let's move on.
Yeah, cool. So another deck I want to point out, not in the top 8, but in the top 16 by Daniel Götzsche, winner of GP, was it Niagara Falls Legacy GP, host of the annual ELO Panthers podcast. Yeah. He played, well, it says Grixis aggro in here. Is this even aggro? I'm not even sure. So basically, this is Grixis colored, and the creatures are 4 DRC, 4 Murktide, 2 Ledger Shredder, which is like kind of aggro-ish, but
this is such a Daniel deck. He loves playing Delver as a control deck, and like he hates Wasteland in the deck as well because it doesn't really help cast your control cards. So this is
he's got 3 Wastelands, right?
Yeah. I saw him say that they were okay but not great, but.
Oh, he would even be open to cutting them?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
So to quickly round the list out. So we do have 4 Dazes, 4 Forces. Of course, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder. But then we got 3 copies of Knight's Whisper, and I did not expect that. Holy shit.
He said he'd play 4 as well. He said they were really good and he'd play 4.
I mean, that's a vintage card, right? That's one of those legacy cards that people... It's actually more often played in vintage than in legacy, but that every once in a while, there are times in Legacy when the format is slow enough, for example, like looking back at Checkpile and stuff, where Knight's Whisper shows up, because in the end, it's like 2 mana, draw 2 cards, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you lose to life, yeah, but...
Whatever. You're snuffing out already. What is life?
Yeah, there's not even life gain in there. Holy shit, how do you stay alive?
This is crazy. Like, this is like so much...
Thoughtseize as well? Oh, dude, this
Thoughtseize snuff out Knight's Whisper.
Yeah, and all this without playing
Death Shadow. Put Shadow in there.
Yeah. I would totally be jamming Death Shadow in this deck.
Yeah, just put in like a one-off, like, I don't know, Watery Grave and stuff. I can see it. But yeah, this looks exciting. I don't know, like when Daniel comes up with crazy shit, I'm all down for it. 3 copies of Lightning Bolt. I mean, that's a Cardinal Sun legacy, but I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's the way he plays it, I think. He like plays very slow, grindy games, and I guess just doesn't get attacked by enemy creatures. I don't know.
Yeah, you have just like this aura, right? Oh no, I should not attack this guy. No,
yeah,
okay,
no,
let's not do that.
I mean, maybe you guys remember, like, or back then when Treasure Cruise was the real deal. Like those blue-red Delver decks, they also didn't play that many creatures because you're gonna be casting a bunch of Treasure Cruise, and you're gonna draw more creatures. You know, you're gonna draw maybe as many creatures as a regular deck just because you have so many draw cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not only the Knight's Whispers and Brainstorm Ponder. There's also like Mishra's Bauble. Like, a lot of the cards in the deck just get get more stuff.
Find what you need. Like the filtering in this deck is insane.
Right. So like it says that we have 10 creatures, but like in gameplay it might feel like 14 maybe.
Yeah. No, I like the creature suite a lot. I'm more just looking at the like. There's so much filtering, but there's like just quote unquote 6 removal spells, 3 bolts and 3 snuff out. But I know that you have Thoughtseizes and Force of Wills and like just tons of interaction, but I feel like I don't know, die to a big black creature. It's a like,
Doomstalker comes back again. We keep talking.
But then
about
Murktide just is bigger than everything, I guess, as well. So yeah, I can see how it plays out. It's like, again, the filtering in this deck is probably unparalleled. It's probably the best filtering by far of anything in the format.
So hear me out. What if, to fight against this deck, we put True Name Nemesis in the deck and Sarah's Embrace?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's flying.
Oh, then it dies to the
and it
Plague
doesn't tap
Engineer
to
on the
attack.
sideboard.
No, it gets +2/+2 from Sarah's Embrace. Is one of my favorite cards.
Sarah's Embrace, of course, yes.
Yeah, +2/+2 flying and Vigilance.
Yeah,
Legacy staple, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, Julian staple in one of my very first decks.
All right,
I loved the
Julian's
card so much.
cracked it. Sorry, Daniel. Move along now.
I mean, if you ever resolved, I mean, it's a 4-drop, okay. But if you ever resolved it on like True Name Nemesis, like you get to completely like basically stonewall the biggest creature and hit for 5 every turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's nearly broken.
Nearly broken.
Just not there yet.
Nearly broken has been called. If anyone disagrees with Julian, you can tweet at us at EternalMTG, is it?
Yeah, Eternal MTG. Yeah.
Tell us what you think about Julian's combo.
Yeah, but buy them now while you can. I think the Urza Saga ones are going to be really expensive.
Don't buy them now.
Buy them yesterday when was the right time to buy them.
The best time to buy Sarah's Embrace was, I don't know, 2 years from now?
Honestly, in 1999 back in school. Because then they were the shit back then.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the Fairy Mastermind? I've seen that in sideboard a lot, so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so he has one fairy mastermind. I'm still pretty high on this card. It's like we kind of talked about it when it first got spoiled, and then first impressions and stuff, and then it won the challenge. Vuk won the challenge, I think, did he? With his kind of like, he called it Jeskai Flash, like mid-rangey deck, and then it is just popping up a lot. It's kind of settling into that groove where we actually first said it's like it's a 2 of here and there. You'll see a 1 of here in the main deck, 1 of in the sideboard. We've seen some decks with 3 or 4 main decks still. I think it's a very good card still.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm super. I generally love it when there's cards coming to the format that feel like if you see it, it makes sense, and if you don't see it, you don't miss them. You know, for example, when you see Uro, or rather when you see, let's say, a blue-green, Anorak pile and it doesn't have Uro, you feel like, why is there no Uro? Like, this is the first thing that would stick out to you, like, big mistake.
Yeah.
But if there's no Fairy Mastermind in, let's say, a blue-white deck or blue-white-red deck, it's not like you would be like, why is there no Fairy Mastermind? And I think that's a healthy thing,
Yeah, I like that way of thinking a lot. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
So there's basically 2 more decks that excite me when I saw them. I mean, if you guys see some other decks, definitely point them out. But here we got 13th place, back mid-range by a bunch of DGNF.
DGNF, yeah.
Okay. I can pronounce that. And that's, I'm not even sure what to call it. Like, I called it bug scam in our show notes because it has that, like, whole scam thing of, like, grief and reanimate. But this is, what is this even? This is 4 base, but it was okay. We got bug colors. Like, bug is a very exciting color combination right now. We're actually playing 4 wastelands in our 19 land deck. We have 4 Baleful Strix, 4 Grief, 1 Layer Vault, 2 Murktide, 2 Uro. And then basically everything you would imagine. Ponder, Forces, Stasis, Brainstorm. We got 3 Hymns. We got 4 Reanimates, 2 Snuffouts, 2 Witherbloom commands, and 2 Stifles. This is basically what you would take from somebody's Tradebinder.
I like the scam term because it's really leading to the power of grief. I actually have tried something similar because I think Stifle kind of plays cool with grief as well, like stifling the evoke trigger to keep it alive. So it's kind of like a reanimate that you don't get another discard thing. It's also just, like the shell playing Daze and him, and then like Stifle is such a griefer card as well in this thing. It's I can see it just with 4 wastelands obviously as well. I can see this deck just doing the mana denial thing very well and running people over. But
like Stifle looks like the secret sauce of this deck, right? Like the mana denial, but plus the grief, but it also combos with Uro, for example, and like it has like so many like hidden things it can do. It also I would say, like, if I'm a combo player, like let's say I'm on Doomsday and I play against a buck deck that plays Baleful Strix on turn 2, I would never ever, like, let's say in a Resolve Doomsday, I would never ever build a pile that can beat Stifle. Like, I would probably make a pile that beats Endurance, which is not even in the deck.
Yeah.
And maybe like a Force or something, but not a freaking Stifle. Or like Witherbloom Command. Like, that card can beat Doomsday pretty fairly well.
All because of the mill?
Yes, dude. Like,
dude, Witherbloom Command, I like the synergies that we got in here, right? We are playing 4 reanimates, so if we mill ourselves, there's a chance you can actually find something. And the rest of the stuff is like just good, right? You got a removal spell in here. You can get back your wastelands, I guess.
I would love to hear from the player, like how many times they use Stifle to keep an Uro or Grief around to like stifle the sacrifice ability.
Honestly, that part doesn't excite me as much, even though it's like still okay. I mean, with Uro it makes sense because you get to attack 1 turn earlier.
Yeah, Grief, it's just like you get a 3/2 madness.
I mean, depends on the matchup, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're playing against, like, let's say, I was gonna say like a combo deck, but then Stifle might just be good on its own. I mean, depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Overall, I just like, we keep going back to this, but this is just like, this looks healthy to me, especially the 2 Pernicious Steed in the sideboard, the 1 Chase in the sideboard. The deck knows, okay, I don't have enough staying power. I mean, yeah, we are a Daze Stifle Wasteland deck. We don't have a lot of staying power, but I can try to go longer if I really want to. I have Pernicious Steed to basically play the control deck against certain more aggressive decks, like Sue, Sue.
Yeah.
So this looks good to me.
Yeah.
And there's one last deck, and when I put the show notes together, I didn't even bother to try to like come up with what this is. This is 16th
I love
place.
This. What the hell?
Yeah. This is 16th place in the Showcase Challenge _VFS _ another bug deck, but holy shit, like Callum, take us away. Like I don't know where to start. 22 lands.
So it has 22 lands, including 4 wastelands and a Mystic Sanctuary. So it's pretty mid-rangey from that. It's bug colors, so tropical islands and underground seas. 1 bayou and then 3 drop 3 underground seas. So from that you can tell it's going to be mostly blue. So the core of the deck is around 4 Thought Scour, 4 Mental Note. That's where I went, ooh. And then I saw what other cards are in there, and now I'm a bit scratching my head. But I love Thought Scour, Mental Note kind of things. So that's cool. So the creatures, you will not be surprised to hear, are 4 Murktide Regent, which goes perfectly with these cards, and 3 Uro. That's 7 creatures. That's it. And then it's got 4 Brainstorms. It's got 0 Ponders. Yeah, 0.
We talked about the Death of Ponder. Mental Note is coming back big time.
There's no Ponders in this deck. Holy crap.
You know what? I'm going to admit there. I went 4 Brainstorm, 4, and I was like, I'm just going to double check this 4 Ponder before saying it out loud. There's no Ponders. Okay, awesome.
I mean, when you think about it, Mental Note is kind of like Ponder, but you get to keep all of the cards. You just have to like store them in the graveyard.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. Love it. 2 Force of Negation, 4 Force of Will, 1 Life from the Loam, 3 Stuff Out, which I think we should talk about in a minute because we're seeing Stuff Out every single black deck now. 2.
By the way, I found a bunch of Snuff Out in my basement when I was cleaning,
nice.
because I'm not only redoing my apartment, I'm also like taking all the trash from my basement and throwing it away, and I found so many Snuffs.
Well, they are Snuffs Outs. 2 Spell Pierce, 4 Stifle, and then the 4 Thought Scour, and then 3 Crime Punishment. So this is pretty sick with the creature suite, I guess. So the crime side you'll just never cast because there's no white mana. It's you reanimate something basically. But punishment is green, black, and X. Destroy each artifact, creature, enchantment with mana value X. So it's like a engineered explosives, but you pay X when you put it on the stack. I mean, I guess it's just like a weird sweeper. You do it for 0 and kill the chalices, the Mox Opals, and stuff. You do it for 1, you kill the DLCs.
This is what we do in bug colors when we want to have like prismatic ending.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's insanely strong versus Ursa Saga.
Yes, oh yeah, because
right?
Saga, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it destroys Saga and all constructs.
Yeah. I guess this deck is just pretty weak to Saga. Like, you have 4 Wastelands and Stifles. Yeah.
I think this deck.
I mean, the main deck is probably like also really weak against like 8 casts in the first place, except for like Crime Punishment.
Yeah, looks a little weak to like go white strategies. Mm-hmm. But like the creatures are that's wild to me. Like Murktide Regent and Uro, and like those are usually best friends, as we know. You know, like this really reminds me of like the old like it was a deck called Jonadian. Deck like that, Jonathan Alexander came up with that. Had like 8 creatures. There was 4 Nimble Mongoose and 4 Hooting Mandrills, and like that was such a bold tension between those 2 guys. And there was not even a Thought Scour in that deck, you know.
I remember that.
But this is the most honest deck. This is literally just like 4 Mental Note, 4 Thought Scour. I know what my weakness is, and I'm gonna patch it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this deck cannot beat Leyline of the Void, by the way.
Well, that's where Crime Punishment comes in.
Oh yeah, for X4.
Yeah, 6 mana. There's 2 repeals in the sideboard, 2 Jace.
Dude, vintage all-star repeal. Can we actually do anything? No, we can't do anything with our deck with repeal.
No.
We just repeal their stuff.
Yeah, I will hats off to VFS. This is a pretty sick call, and although I'm a bit skeptical of punishment, I mean, it's worked out. Top 16 in the Showcase Challenge is sweet.
You know, I love, especially post-board, like the control configuration. You're going to have 2 Chases, 2 Pernicious Deed, 2 Whale of Summer. That's just, like, great.
Mm-hmm.
That does, I don't know. I've mentioned it, like, 5 times on this cast, but seeing bug decks makes me happy.
Seeing Jason
necessarily want to play
each
them.
other is sweet.
Yeah, that's true. Chase Deed.
BFF.
Seeing all these bug decks makes me wonder, like, this is where Cloud Post needs to come back and just destroy all these mid-range decks.
It's here, man. Like, it's winning a lot online. Yeah.
Is there like a proper configuration for Cloud Post these days? Because there's always like, do you play like the green Cloud Post, or do you play like the mono, like the colorless Cloud Post stuff? Like, I don't know what the
green,
basically.
Green is pretty stuck, but I think, I mean, I'm not in the Discord, so I don't know. But me personally, I'll just look at what Fake Futurism is doing, and him, or like until Tony Murata was playing loads, then everyone would copy him. But he's kind of taken a break, I guess. Haven't seen him around for a while. So then, yeah, true.
Wait, isn't Tony playing the Epic Gamble?
He could be. He has jumped around.
He has been changing around. Yeah, he changed around just to like spike people. Yeah, he basically defined what mono green should be looking like. And
okay.
Yeah. Though I think True Futurism was playing like a blue-green version with Stifle online recently to get to beat like Doomsday and Wastelands and all that kind of stuff.
How much Stifle are we seeing these days?
A lot. Stifle and Snuff Out. I haven't seen this much since, well, when I first started playing the format, literally.
I was going to say, like, Stifle and Snuff Out, that used to be pretty common, like 2011. Well, Snuff Out not so much, but it was a card, but really not all that much. Yeah, could make sense. By the way, do Snuff Outs actually cost money? Because I want to say I found like 10 into the complete crap box that I was almost going to throw away.
They do.
Really? Okay. I mean, I told you, right? I found some beta glooms.
Beta glooms.
Yeah, like Gloom, the card from beta.
Hey, we tell Kai to play that.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you told me like half a year ago, and that was like one of the worst ideas I've got from you guys.
But
like,
you didn't play it.
You can play turn 1 Dark Visual Gloom to beat an initiative. Like what?
Dude, that's actually like GG game 1.
Yeah. But you didn't play it and you didn't win, so
yeah.
Yeah,
I guess it's on me then. Yeah,
that's how the scientific
my
method
life
works.
yeah, I think so. The facts don't lie. Shall we just let's go through the actual top 8 just to give shout outs to the players? I think we should.
Sure.
And it is a cool top 8. Like, I looked at the whole top 32 list that published stuff. Very cool. So yeah, as we said, MKC in first with White Red Initiative. Second was Ikabaronen with Rug Rhinos. I know that the final split as well, so I'm not sure if they played or not. Third place is Ikada with Blue Black Shadow. Fourth is Thalai, who's Javier Dominguez. This is on Angelo Cadet's Blue White Red Super Friends deck, so no staff, so just Guy, Narset, and Teferis and removal.
It's almost his list, right? Angelo took offense that Javier cut one of those tri-homes.
Oh, there was a tri-home. Okay, yeah, fine.
But there was a card I didn't recognize, and that's always a tri-home when I don't recognize the card.
Fair enough. Fifth place, we have the Mutts with Red Green Lands. Sixth, we have M. Decker with Reanimator. Seventh, we have Ali with Red Green Lands as well. That's a Sphere version of lands, so like Ancient Tombs and Sphere of Resistance in the main deck. And then 8 is Zed Nude Zed with Blue or Red Stoneblade with 2 main deck back to basics. Lands, 2 in the top 8, and I saw Ali post that it had an 82% non-mirror win rate.
What?
Yeah.
Like he or like lands in general?
Lands in the Showcase Challenge.
How many people played it?
Yeah, so it's going to be a small sample size, I'm sure.
2. 2, and they both made top 8. Easy.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty close to that, right? There must have been 3 or 4.
I was going to say, yeah.
3 or 4. But that's a very good showing from lands, especially because I guess they've teched. So I think the idea behind Spheres is it's not great against Delver because they're like fighting on the same mana now thing. But he is not respecting Delver, respecting combo. And I haven't actually looked at the list, but I assume he's got lots of Graveyard Hate in the sideboard.
In the sideboard, he's got 2 Fairy Macabres.
And 2 Surgical.
2 Surgicals, yeah.
Okay. And then he probably brings Blasts in against Show and Tell sometimes.
Yeah, he's got like 3 Blasts in the sideboard.
Yeah.
And then, nothing else that matters for that matchup.
Yeah, so I think lands is again one of these decks that like never really goes away. It really struggled with initiative, but it was still had a game there. Like Ali discovered Steely Resolve as a way to beat initiative and breakfast at the same time. It's this deck where like the core has not changed a ton, but it's because it has so many tutors and so much like Life from the Lone Dredge to filter and stuff. You can play these different kind of sub shells, and they go in and out depending on the metagame. So I don't know, land's looking pretty good at the moment. I like it.
Yeah, Eddie has also been like pretty vocal about how people should play lands. Like he talked about this, I think, on his Twitter account even before like he had that really good showing here.
Yeah.
That he thinks that deck is in a good position. I mean, he backed it up. And so did the Mutts.
Yep.
Both in the top 8 here.
Absolutely fair.
Yeah. So yeah, Legacy, even though didn't really have a lot of time to commit to it. Actually, Kai, did you have a lot of time to play lately? Because Callum and I, we've been somewhat out of it for like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've been trying a little bit, this and that. Mostly like Elves and stuff like Breakfast, a little bit of Doomsday, those kind of decks. Also a little bit of this Jessica Control deck, dude. That one league took me like fucking ages to finish. And
like you really made the player basically got like 40 QPs just in one league.
Yeah.
that Kai was playing.
Oh, I did play Cephalid Breakfast at our LLM on Sunday.
How did that go?
I went 1-1 drop, so I was so hungover. I won round 1, lost round 2, and then it's just like, guys, I'm just going to watch the rest. I can't do this.
But honestly, that's also like sometimes that's something I really enjoy. I haven't done it a lot lately.
Yeah,
but just like watching,
it was nice actually. Just like just What there's let me shout out the top 8. Let me find it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed that. It was a good decision. I was like feeling bad about dropping 1-1 blah blah, but no, it was actually cool. So we had first place was Peter White, Power 22, with Triumph of St. Catherine and Control basically. So it's a very cool list. It had 4 triumphs, 1 Animatu as well, and then like with 4 staff for the storyteller as well.
Help me out again. What is Animatu?
Animatu is the Esper Planeswalker. It's like 1 white, 1 black, 1 blue, and then it's got like the plus ability is you put a card in your hand on top of your library and you draw a card. It's like it sets up miracles quite well, and then you can minus to blink something or something, and then I can't remember the rest. Is that
How do you spell it?
Animateou?
The artwork looks like some sort of little goth girl.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, I think I know. I think it must be spelled a different way because I still can't find it. But I think I know which one you mean.
I'm doing a great
I
description.
mean, it was a card that came out like quite a few years ago. Yeah.
There's some cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, he had Animatu. He was splashing black for 2 Cabal Therapy in Animatu, and then like some sideboard cards basically. He was like, Cabal Therapy is so that against swords decks you can sacrifice the Triumph to like not get exiled to swords and stuff like that. But his basic reasoning was he was going to play blue-white with obviously Triumph and then blue-white cards, but Cabal Therapy is way cooler than Pyroblast. That's basically it. And I think it's pretty cool. Then quickly going through the rest, we had second place was Elves, Glimpse version. Third place was Mono Black Helm with 4 Exsanguinator Knight.
Are you just like it's making up cards here?
Exsanguinator Cavalry. It's 2 and a black for 2/3 Menace, I think, and lifelink. I'm going off memory here, so sorry if it's wrong. And it's whenever a knight you control deals combat damage to a player, you make a blood token and put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control. So then it becomes a 3/4 Menace, lifelink, and you make blood tokens to help filter through your like bad draws like Leyline and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, Menace Lifelink. I got it here.
Nice.
Sounds like a commander card.
It is a commander card. Yeah. In 4th place, we had Reanimator. 5th, we had Lands. Then we had Blue Red Delver. And then rounding at the top, the rest of the top 8 was 2 Cephala Breakfasts. So pretty cool. All right, cool. That was our LLM.
Dude, one day I'm going to make it to one of those. I remember I used to be in London so many times for like trade fairs and stuff. I haven't been, well, I guess COVID, okay. But you told me, right? We should come. We should come.
Well, do you guys want to come on the 2nd of July? Because I've announced we're doing our ELM qualifier then.
Oh, that's gonna be rough because soon after I'm on the 6th of July. I'm pretty sure Kai and I are going to Spain for Impact Returns. Definitely sign up, everybody.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, of course, Impact Returns. That's just when I'm just going on tour, like the day of it. Fair enough.
Okay. So I think we are gonna call it a day. We just noted 1MrLee's voice is also cutting out, but thank you for donating your voice to the podcast for the last 1.5 hours. Okay, are you still around, or did your voice completely lose us?
No, it's just I got a cold, so I realize my voice is getting worse and worse as I get through the podcast.
No, your body is just adapting to Berlin, right? That's the Berlin.
Yeah, that's
vibe.
pretty much. Yeah, it's just get used to it.
You guys are going to Berghain tonight, right? Wait, is Berghain still around?
It is. Yeah, it's like Trash Castle. Yeah.
Let's go.
Dude. one day I want to go. I want to see that. Maybe we take all the Patreons and we go there together. Everything's on us, kind of, for the first 10 minutes. If you want to support the running of Everyday Eternal, you can, well, I guess go with us to Berghain, but more practically, you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or you can start supporting us on Patreon, on patreon.com/everydayeternal. Follow us on social media at EternalMTG, pretty much everywhere. Mr. Lee, where can people find you?
At 1MrLee.
At 1MrLee. You can find me on at itsjulian23. We got at Callum Smith MTG, and we got Savatarix, pretty much everywhere. Shoutouts to everybody who's been supporting this cast, not only through Patreon, but especially our Patreons on Eternal Witness tier level: Alex Crow, Tim Everett, Salvatore Orico, Testacular, Sebastian Holager, Guillaume, Sean Dewey, Francis Cowper, Cassandra Davis, Benedict Gruber, and Severin Schwarzhuber. And on our Atraxa tier, Victor Bernard, Bachi Bat, Scott Monroe, Tom Hepp, Andrew Whitman, Kane, Ian Seyfarth, and Colonoscopy. Dude, I love that name, by the way. Colonoscopy. I didn't even... Anyway, everybody have a great time and see you again later this month. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.